So I was inspired by recent Brian F. stream. Talked about, you know, if you're carried by your character. And one of the things he was talking about in that video / stream were gimmicky offenses. You know, Rashid V skill 2, Urien V trigger 2, and Abigail run. So I'm an Abigail player. I figured, you know what, let's make the world a better place, teach some people how to deal with Abigail. So first thing you need to know is, let's see if he has any. I don't want him to be jumping. Okay. So Abigail's run, right? Understand the mix-up. It's generally between punch and grab. Okay. A lot of Abigails will like to do this with crouch fierce. Okay. Don't let them do that with crouch fierce. Against crouch fierce, if you react to the startup of the run, you can neutral jump everything. Beats the punch, beats the grab, beats the overhead. Okay. He can spend a bar to catch the neutral jump, or he just doesn't cancel from that button. Okay, if he cancels from back fierce or stand medium punch, he will catch the neutral jump. Okay? That being said, against any of those three options, most characters, I'll get to that in a minute, most characters can forward jump. Okay? The reason that works is the startup of forward jump is 1 frame quicker, so the hurt box just gets out of the way. One thing to note though, if you look at the red bars, or just do it old school, if I set Ryu to jump and then hold up, notice we're jumping at the same time. Abigail's not punishable if you get out of it that way, right? He's not. Okay, so important to note that you should try to react to the jump though, right? Because if you don't, he can always catch you with that, or this, and do a better knockdown, okay? Off of a back heavy punch, maybe you can hold up forward, maybe, but that's still a little weird, because he's -6 and you could just push a button too, rather than jumping, you could just push a button. He can always spend a bar to catch you, okay? So if he cancels into it from this or this, he can always spend the bar. Okay, if he's not in V-trigger or his V-trigger bar is not full, that is not a bad situation, especially if you're not in the corner, right? If you're not in the corner and you back recover after this knockdown, his offense is done. Okay, it's completely done. If he does have V-trigger, however, that's a great way for him to get into it. He can actually... Whoopsies, missed my V-trigger. He can do stuff like that. Or again, if he's in V-trigger, then all of a sudden, bang, now it's a little scary, okay? I did mention most characters. Tall characters can't, and I'll show that next. So against tall characters, it's a little bit different because they can't hold up forward to escape this. Tall characters, again, are Urien, Seth, G, you know, Abigail, Birdie, Zangief, although characters like Abigail and Zangief that have slower jump squats, they can't get out of it even if they hold up, which is kind of a bummer for them, but they can't get out of it anyways. But anyway, tall characters don't get out of the way in time, so this is always a true mix-up, and in V-trigger it's really scary because the knockdown situations are pretty much the same. You can, you know, if you don't back rise here, you're +2, if you do, you're +7. Or rather, if they do, but either way, you're very, very close. Or if they decide that they're not going to jump and they just eat the command grab, you know, it's a little less damage, but a very similar knockdown. So it's one of those things where you kind of got to pick your poison, and a lot of players might even just opt to do something like this, right? They might just EXDP, which you think is fine, but this has armor, so you can just react to it. And then you're in the same sort of situation, and I missed the tackle, but you're in the same boat, right? It doesn't particularly matter. Now, granted, I have to wait. I can't commit to anything, right? Like, I have to wait for it, and then, you know, and see if it comes. But that's really not that big of a deal, and if I spend EX bar, this becomes super easy to do. And if I'm V-trigger, I can actually get a lot more damage than that, because I can do something like this. That was supposed to be tackle. I'm not sure why that didn't come out. I must have hit it a little earlier. But regardless, right? And the thing is, like, you're better off just doing DP there because, all right, say he supers, and I do this, and I wait, I can just match V-skill. And, you know, for max damage there, I guess if I wanted to spend 2 bars, I could. I'm just mashing V-skill. Again, that's only if you spend EX, though. Right. And you get 300 something damage. So that's sort of the idea, right? For tall characters, you really have to guess, and there's not a great way out of it. So there's one last thing that I want to talk about for characters whose best response is up forward, and that's what Abigail does if he reads that you're going to forward jump, right? Because he's not going to go like this. That doesn't make any sense. Doesn't give him any plus frames. That gets him punished. So what can he do? Well, that's why this exists. He wants to do the back roll. And I know it doesn't look like much, but that's a punish. That will punish the jumps. Okay, that will punish the forward jump. And off of this, he can activate V-trigger and go into something like this, and that's immediately unblockable that you have to V-shift, right? Or he can just take his Oki, forward dash, or if he's in V-trigger too, whoops, mistimed it, he gets the level 2 tackle. And that's a pretty decent situation for him. So I just kind of wanted to talk about what the end game of the mix-up was. I'm thinking about making this kind of a series, you know, just exploring different mix-ups in the game. I'll probably start with Abigail because that's my main, so I know a lot of those situations the best, but I just hope this was helpful, informative. Hopefully you can stop complaining about Abigail, learn how to deal with some of his offense. Have a good time.